of that range of things are tested and certified to be manufactured in processes that actually give you what you're supposed to have inside the bottle, for one. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, so we started out as, like I said, nutritional practitioners who were just working every day, just like Dr. Jackson does with his patients. So we started developing our own products, and then over time, grew into just a standalone supplement company. We didn't do any more of the nutritional consulting. So we were, since day one, family-run business. We still are to this very day. So, those same people with those, core values of getting, the best products, the best quality products possible are the ones, making the decisions today, 28 years later. So we're very happy to see that there's, not many professional supplement companies that are family-run like that. So definitely good to know, where the products are coming from, who's making these decisions, and
it's good that you're well connected in the sense that
exactly
the communication's right there. It's not like a big bureaucracy or company that's
there's
just
no global holdings company that's making all the decisions of where to get the products from or anything like that. It's the same people with the values and the same beliefs that we've had since day one.
Yeah, and in my use of your products, I've seen really good results.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We always we call ourselves the science first company because everything's always research backed, research proven. We always have, all of our doctors are doing, tests constantly. If there's a need for, a change in a product, we're very open to change, evolving with the times. New research is coming out all the time. So we're more than happy to reformulate, fix anything that needs to be fixed, just to make sure we're always on top of our game and providing the best supplements possible.
And I can speak to that in the sense that, you just recently gave me an update on reformulated, several of them that have been reformulated. And so they're constantly adjusting things to keep up with the latest science on these things. So it's not the standard over the counter as you go into a nutritional store or God forbid a pharmaceutical store.
Yeah, like drugstores.
Drugstores. Grocery stores, right? Where you're lucky to get what you're supposed to be getting, and it's usually not going to be the same quality by any means. And the absorption is another part of it, the bioavailability.
Yes.
And you do a lot of work on making sure, ensuring that the bioavailability is there, right?
Yeah. So, any ingredient that needs, help with the bioavailability, needs some form of assistance. For example, our curcumin formulas or our what we call our eVail process. It's a line of products that are fat-soluble molecules that obviously typically have the body has a hard time absorbing those molecules. So we use a
process.
So the eVail technology delivery system. I'm sorry, that's the word I was looking for. So the delivery system we use there uses MCT oils, vitamin E, and sunflower lecithin. So obviously, fatty substances to help these fat-soluble molecules be absorbed in the body and facilitated properly. We have many studies that show that the absorption rates are much higher than if you were to take the product in its own. A lot of people are big fans of curcumin these days. They'll take straight turmeric powder, and the body's probably only absorbing about 1% or so of that. So you'd be having to take so much of that product just to get benefit from it. Where if you take it with the right delivery system there, you'll be able to utilize that in the body much easier. Just 2 capsules, you'll get 2 full grams, and readily available in the body and ready to use.
And what she just said is very important. This is the highest concentration in one capsule I've seen, 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram of curcumin, and the curcumin extract is already broken down in such a way that it's going to be well absorbed. And you do have the medium chain triglycerides in there.
Yeah.
The MCTs, as you refer to them. And so they're very available, very well absorbed. Some people do have a sensitivity, I've found, to the medium chain triglycerides, and we've discussed that in the past. And generally speaking, those who have a sensitivity may not be able to take it every day, but even if that is the case, usually if they take it once or twice a week or something like that, or just break it down to a level where they can tolerate it. They'll be able to take some, and it can have the benefits because it's very concentrated formulation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for most people, one
One's
capsule
enough.
is more than enough for
Yeah.
per day.
And to do the comparison you were talking about, I used to use a curcumin supplement all the time that was derived by another nutraceutical company, and it had 500 milligrams of curcumin at 95% curcuminoids.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, if we compare turmeric to curcumin, it's a big gap.
Yeah.
So people take turmeric thinking it's anti-inflammatory, it's going to help them. True, it does. But you have to take like 7 or 8 capsules of turmeric to match up with 1 of curcumin in the same dosage.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you have a 500 milligram capsule, you'll need about 7 of those in turmeric form to match 1 capsule in a 95% curcuminoid extract. And
Yes.
yours is very well developed to be absorbed, in addition to coming in a form that's actually up to 1,000 milligrams. So 1,000 milligrams of turmeric, even if you took just 4, that would be equivalent to the, anyway, I'm breaking it down too much here, but you can see what I'm saying here. So the concentration is much higher just because it's 95% extract of curcuminoids, but then the benefit is even further because of the absorption. Right?
Mhm.
And I've seen good results. I've had people telling me they're doing great. Some people do have a sensitivity to it. That's the curcumin I'm referring to.
Yeah. Yes, I'm very happy to hear that. I have hear great results from that product, all the time throughout my work. So
yeah, people are surprised when their aches and pains are gone,
yeah,
and it's like, wow, I just took 1 of those and it's gone.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I've had people tell me it's almost like an Advil.
Yeah.
They say they take one, their pain goes away. There's not many nutritional forms of something that the pain relief is so strong that it's almost comparable to an NSAID, but it really is.
Well, yeah, it is an NSAID in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it's non-steroidal and it's an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
It's just not a drug.
Yes, exactly.
But also the difference goes to the effects on the liver and the gastrointestinal system and so on.
Yeah.
If you're popping Advils and Tylenol and Aleve, you're doing a lot of internal damage, very likely.
Yes.
And I can give examples of that. Like I had a young man who was a basketball player on a local team come to me, and he was literally coughing up blood after a year of taking these NSAIDs to deal with pain that he had from athletic injuries. And I got him off the NSAIDs and I turned him over to some other avenues, and that changed. So we got him better.
Great.
But those are the inherent dangers. In fact, there are thousands of people every year who are dying in our hospitals from their use of NSAIDs.
Yeah. It's disheartening.
Yeah. So curcumin and curcumin eval specifically, very, very, very good approach. It is an approach. If you want to look into it, you can look at our website through our practice, aptw.net, and look under RX Nutrition, and you'll see Designs for Health under there in the drop down, and you can search for these kinds of things. But so that's one area, the anti-inflammatories, and it's a huge one. It's probably underappreciated. People are, I think, geared in this country to the quick fix, and getting something over the counter, they assume in a lot of cases is safe. And that's really not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, by working with people like myself who deal with natural approaches to the same issues, using these kinds of nutraceuticals, we can make a lot of progress and not do the damage. And in fact, speaking of liver damage, it's quite the opposite. It actually helps the liver. It supports the liver.
Yeah, and the cardiovascular system, GI.
Yeah.
So almost all those issues that the Advil will damage, those kind of
Yeah, so it's helpful on top of that.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's actually in a lot of ways the same, in a lot of ways opposite.
Exactly.
In terms of the damage.
Yeah.
So no damage is actually supported.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that curcumin inherently can be helpful for example, cirrhosis.
Yeah.
Liver cirrhosis. So it's very good stuff. And it's also anti-angiogenic,
mm-hmm.
which means that it can be helpful in a preventative way toward cancer and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about liver issues, quite often the combination of cirrhosis and liver cancer can be one of those eventualities, and curcumin can be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, getting deep in there. And I guess I'll mention that we're not trying to treat, cure, or prevent disease on this show, but we are discussing many avenues that are available, and we suggest that you seek the help of a qualified professional in healthcare, and you know where we're coming from here. So
yep.
Okay. So there's a lot of other areas. I mean, that would fall into the pain management and anti-inflammatory and this kind of thing. But there's so many areas that we can get into.
Yeah.
I mean, from women's health to brain health and I've seen some fabulous results with that end of it as well.
Yeah.
By combining some rather innovative therapies that I've been doing, I think. I'm biased, but that are having some good results with some of the specific nutraceuticals from your company, Science for Health. I've been seeing some fantastic results as far as people who are struggling. In fact, last week my show was on memory.
Yeah.
And I talked about the use of some of the precursors, for example. Like the conventional approach is to ignore what the cause is, basically, virtually. May not entirely, but virtually, it's just about treating the symptoms. And so you have drugs like Aricept, which are acetylcholinesterase inhibitors.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about that. The acetylcholine being the primary neurotransmitter involved in that, and then the esterase being an enzyme that helps to break that down, and then inhibition of that enzyme is a way that is approached to allow more acetylcholine to be present to help the thought processes, help cognitive processes and memory. And that's treating the symptoms again. But the root cause is not just the presence of acetylcholine in that sense. It's way more than that. If we can get down to where's that acetylcholine coming from? Like, we want to provide the precursors to allow the brain to produce enough acetylcholine so that you're not having to treat the symptoms because they're going to improve because you're treating it more at the root. And that's a lot of what's being done.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about, I guess, the Brain Vital is one formula that does that.
Yeah.
It has choline in it.
It has glycerphosphoccholine.
Okay. And it has some other facets to it. I don't recall exactly in the formula.
Should I pull that? Or
if you want to.
Yeah.
Or if you want to just talk about what's in it.
Yeah.
You've got all the data.
I do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So there's the glycerphosphoccholine in there, the GPC. There's the acetyl-L-carnitine, the inositol, the phosphatidylserine, and the ginkgo.
Right.
So ginkgo is another one that is very popular.
Ginkgo helps with the blood flow in the brain and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also the phosphatidylserine is converted in the body to choline, a form of choline. And then you have which form of acetyl radical was it? Acetyl-L-carnitine, was it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So that contributes the acetyl radical to the acetylcholine. So then you combine in your body the acetyl and the choline, and you have acetylcholine.
The acetyl-L-carnitine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's an example of giving the body the precursors. And then also combining that with some of the natural substances that the extracts of which act as acetylcholinesterase inhibitors, such as HUPA, and does it have vinpocetine in the
Cognate?
Cognate, yeah. Yeah. So this is another formulation.
Yeah, the huperzine A and the vinpocetine.
Vinpocetine.
Vinpocetine. Yep, and then the wild blueberry complex and the green tea extract. And the Bacopa.
Bacopa.
Yeah.
And the blueberry extract is an interesting one because there's been recent studies on that helping cognitive function.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's in there, and I don't know if you did an upgrade of the formula once you found that out, or.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know there's that study is actually available on our site if anyone wanted to look into that. So at
Awesome.
designsforhealth.com, if they were to look up the study on wild blueberry extract and its benefits on memory and brain health, everything like that. It's a very interesting study. So.
Okay, so that combination of just those two formulas can show some improvement for people who are struggling. And then what I do is I combine that with some other supportive nutritional substances, as well as herbal medicine, possibly even homeopathic, like homeopathic BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is a major substance in the area of spreading of the nerves and enhancing nerve and brain function. And so that can be part of it as well. And then adding to that some therapies like working on stimulating brain processes through acupuncture, electroacupuncture, laser stimulation, things like that. All of that combination can really make some serious changes for people. So it's part of how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another example, another area where these kinds of things can help. So you see, this is not about treating the symptoms. This is about getting to the core, getting to the root cause. And, would you classify some of it as, for you, as orthomolecular medicine? Are you familiar?
Yeah, I'm slightly familiar with it. Not great, so.
Okay, so basically the fundamental aspects of orthomolecular medicine are based on treating a disorder with the right molecule.
Mm-hmm.
That's what right molecule is, orthomolecular.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
That's from Linus Pauling.
Yeah.
And he won 2 Nobel Prizes, so he was on top of things pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, an aspect of orthomolecular medicine is figuring out where nutritional deficiencies may be and directing your approach toward those deficiencies. That's part of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Like, for example, choline is a B vitamin.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're deficient in choline, you're not going to have enough there to have your brain working right, or your neurology working correctly. So by targeting the choline levels, we can address some of the fundamental needs there.
Yeah.
That's the same with the acetyl L-carnitine. You've got the acetyl radical in there that combines with that choline. So much kind of similar idea there. And functional medicine is a category. I know you guys categorize yourself with that.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of overlap between orthomolecular and functional medicine.
Yeah.
I think functional medicine was coined by Mark Hyman. He's one of the originators of that.
Yeah, I know Mark Hyman. I know they consider Jeff Bland the father of functional medicine also.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of those big leaders in the industry.
Right.
Who are kind of at the forefront when it all kind of everything started coming into place. So.
Yeah. And it's a great area, and it's really filling a need that's been falling through the cracks in conventional medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, conventional approaches have been primarily treating symptoms and not really addressing the root cause. So yes, you feel great while the same things are still there that are causing the situation. And so what typically happens is they start you off on a certain level prescription, and when the symptoms start showing up again, well, they just increase the dose.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's squelching the body's response to not having that need met instead of addressing the need. And that's what we're talking about, is addressing that need. Yeah. So anyway, just kind of to elaborate for anyone who might not totally understand where we're coming from. So in the realm of women's health, tell me about that. What kinds of things? This is an area I'm not as familiar. I do use some of it, but what would you say are your primary formulas for women's health?
So we have, obviously a wide range of formulas specifically for women's health. I think our main formula, probably most known by, is our Sensitol. Sensitol actually used to be called Ovabend. It was actually a medical food for the treatment of PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I'm sure you see many PCOS patients in your practice. It's a very widespread condition that most women are not even aware that they have. Obviously causes many issues. I'm sure Dr. Jackson's a specialist on that, so he can elaborate more. But this product went through a small reformulation where we switched the name to Sensitol. We had so many practitioners who were already, knew the widespread benefits of this product, had been tested, obviously through a wide series of testing that got it that medical food term by the FDA. So we didn't go through the process of having it retermed as a medical food. So it's not necessarily considered a medical food at the moment. However, it still has, those same benefits that it did when it was called Ovabend. But again, it's now called Sensitol for the treatment of PCOS. And that probably is just my number one when I think of women's health products, because it is just has such a widespread, benefit in terms of women's health and the conditions that it can help with.
Well, I know that one of the areas that's dealing with, inositol is one of the elements in there, right?
Yeah.
And one of the areas it's dealing with is blood sugar regulation.
Yeah.
And commonly with PCOS, there is a blood sugar regulation issue coupled with a testosterone issue and some other issues that create this situation where you have basically an overdevelopment of follicles that come to the surface of the ovary simultaneously. And what you see, like if you look on an ultrasound, is something that looks like a pearl necklace on the surface of the ovary. And it's actually misnamed. It's not polycystic ovary syndrome, even though it's called that. It's not polycystic, it's really polyfollicular. It's the follicles coming to the surface and then ova come out. So you have multiple ova at one time sometimes if they come out. But so
some of our other women's health products, we have our FemGuard Plus Balance, which is, in a way almost like a women's multivitamin. It has, your B vitamins, your folate, everything that women definitely need to be taking. And it has the right substances in there to help with hormone balancing, hormone regulation. And then also we have our pregnenolone, which helps, as well with the hormone balancing.
Absolutely. Yeah, pregnenolone is one of those root cause issues in a lot of cases. Pregnenolone comes directly from cholesterol. It's converted from cholesterol. So this is one of the issues I've seen a lot of is people being over-regulated on their cholesterol.
Yeah.
To where they're bringing the cholesterol down so far it's affecting their hormones.
Yeah.
And that can be an issue. So cholesterol is a necessary part of the way your body works. It's not the big bugaboo that's created. And again, that's another area where the symptoms are being treated instead of the root cause. But that's another subject altogether.
Yeah. A couple of the others, just to go over a wide range of the women's health products that we offer. Obviously, we have the DIM Avail, which is a DIM formula, uses that same eVail delivery system that I had discussed earlier when we had discussed the curcumin.
And DIM is diindolylmethane. And it basically, when you get broccoli and the broccoli has kind of little yellowy buds on it, that's where the DIM is. And so it really can be derived from broccoli. But one of the main features of DIM is that it is an aromatase enzyme inhibitor. So I'm talking about enzyme inhibitors today. but it's an aromatase enzyme inhibitor, and the aromatase enzyme is involved in um, taking the testosterone in your body and converting it to estrogen. So you get overconversion to estrogen, but the DIM can help to prevent that. And that's very important for many things. It can be important in men's health too, because we don't want accumulation of estrogen.
Yeah, of course.
But then also for prevention or even treatment of breast cancer. Now, again, I'm not promoting this as a treatment for breast cancer, but it has a lot of potential for helping in those areas.
Yeah. And then, we actually do have some of our products in, individualized packets. So you can just take, your packet of supplements, and that's those are your supplements for the day. So we do have a women's twice daily essential packet that has our, twice daily multi or multivitamin, our OsteoForce, obviously for bone joint health, the FemGuard Plus Balance, which I mentioned, just for almost a multivitamin, helps with the hormone balancing specifically, and then the Omega Bill Synergy fish oil, pure triglyceride fish oil. And then we also have prenatal pro packets, which are specifically for women who are expecting, women who are pregnant, so those are great to have as well.
Okay, and there's one other I think we're missing here. A lot of women report a low libido.
Yeah.
And so you have.
We have our Libido Stim female formula. We have a Libido Stim male formula as well as the female formula.
Right.
So the female formula is obviously specific to women's, increasing women libido, and obviously increasing sex drive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think is DIM not a component of both of those formulas?
It is a component of both of them. Yep.
Yeah, and there are some other things in there, some herbals
Yeah.
that are common to both, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would differentiate the male versus the female then? What are the primary differences between them?
The male has, I know the male form has boron in there. It has
Boron. Okay.
Yeah. It has, I know the female formula has DHEA in there. Also has phosphatidylcholine.
That's funny because DHEA is a precursor. It's a precursor to both estrogen and testosterone. And so it would work for either men or women.
Yeah.
Is DHEA in the male form?
I don't believe so. This formula, sorry, I'm kind of scratchy on that because it was
really
just, they
here.
Both were just reformulated actually in the past 2 months. So obviously reformulated, to help improve the formulas. As I said, we're always willing to change whenever it's necessary. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly if the DHA is in the male format, but I'd have to check on that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so that's great. So you can see we're getting kind of deep here in terms of what's inside these formulas to give people an idea of the level we can get to here, that there are many things that can help with improving health in many areas. And, our goal in the practice of functional medicine, integrative medicine, natural medicine, is to get to the core of the root cause and treat individuals from the point of view of what is functionally going wrong at those levels, and turn things around internally as opposed to.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to know that, whatever your symptoms may be, I think a lot of people just kind of go through with their daily life thinking that that's something that they have to just live with, they have to handle it.
A lot of people do, yeah.
And they don't realize that there are, easy, simple ways that they can get to the root cause of those issues and heal them. For example, myself, I dealt with migraine headaches for almost my whole life. Very, very debilitating migraine headaches. If I woke up with a migraine, I couldn't do anything for the next 24, even 48 hours at times. And I got to the root core of my issues. I realized it was a mix of some, nutritional deficiencies. I was very, I needed magnesium. I started taking our Migranol, which we sell. Also realized I had some food allergies, had to remove gluten from my diet. And for the past year and a half or so, I haven't had, I can't even tell you one time where I've had a migraine as bad as the ones I used to have 2 to 3 days a week. So it's amazing to see that, you really can transform your life. You really can live happy and well and without symptoms if you just put in the work to find out, find the right doctor and find out what's going on.
Yeah. Get to the root.
Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome. So you've been migraine free for how long?
About a year and a half.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I used to treat people using acupressure as well as acupuncture for migraines. And I've had some people who had very serious cases, severe, where they end up in the emergency room for 5 hours or so, being treated with all the drugs, getting injections, all that, and turned those around. So with the complement of having something like, you called it Migranol?
Yeah, that's our migraine formula.
Migranol, that's great, yeah. There are other, there are herbal substances, maybe it has some in it. Like feverfew.
Yep, it has feverfew in there.
It has feverfew in it, okay.
Yeah, so it has feverfew in there, also has magnesium, of course, it has riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, rosemary extract, and then also has some curcumin complex, but I take additional curcumin as well because you really want high doses of that, of course.
I would think it might also include ginkgo, but I guess not this particular form.
No, it doesn't.
No. Okay. There's different kinds of migraines, and if they're vascular migraines, that might be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. There's lots of areas. So we kind of touched on blood sugar regulation with the Sensitol when we were talking about PCOS.
Yeah.
But blood sugar regulation in and of itself is an area too.
Yeah,
and Sensitol is one of the primary formulas that you use, right? But there are others, correct?
Yeah, so our metabolic synergy is actually our multivitamin specific for blood sugar regulation for metabolic syndrome patients, diabetic patients, or prediabetes. So it has almost, we consider almost like an 8-in-1 multivitamin because any of those products that patient would be taking, who is diabetic, pre-diabetic, or just has blood sugar issues, they can get all of that just in this one supplement. And the dosing there is kind of dependent on, how bad your symptoms are. So if you're, full-blown diabetic, you're going to be wanting to take about 6 a day of this multivitamin. If, you just need slight, assistance with your blood sugar regulation, then you may only need 2 a day. So you really can kind of titrate up or down with that dosing depending on, where your symptoms are.
Yeah, so that would be a possibility. And generally speaking, again, it's best to do this by looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody like myself who can kind of look at everything and do some testing and that kind of thing.
Definitely.
To get a better idea of what's going on.
Yeah, and that's why, our products are sold through healthcare practitioners because you really, these products have such high values of, the therapeutic ingredients that are in there. They are so pure that you want to make sure you're taking them at the right dosage for you. You want to make sure there's no contraindications with any medications you may be taking. And, you really do need to have a healthcare practitioner who's, watching everything you're taking, making sure it's what's right for you and just kind of assisting you along the way.
Yeah, let me just throw in sort of an observation. A lot of people go through years going to the nutrition stores and the drug stores and all that and grabbing bottles off the shelf and trying this and trying that and trying this. And they're going through all this and they're basically experimenting on themselves and not getting anywhere. And finally, a lot of them will come to Dr. Jackson and say, I've been doing this for a while and it's not getting me anywhere. So I figured I should try something new or different, And it's like, if you went the professional route first, you would have prevented all of that time still suffering from and it would definitely pay for itself and probably tenfold, to get to it earlier. So just throwing that in because a lot of people go through this and, there's a whole network because I do find that sometimes some of the people in nutrition stores are stepping beyond the bounds of where they should be. You know, they're telling people what to take, how to take it, for what, and even dosing, and that's not in their realm.
Yeah.
And I've had some experiences where I've, you know, in my earlier days practicing, I would send people to pick up things a lot. And I would tell them what to get, and they'd go to a nutrition store, and then some clerk at the nutrition store would say, "Oh no, you should take this," you know. And
I'm sure that was frustrating.
yeah, I mean, you know. Anyway, so that kind of thing needs to be understood. There's a lot more. I mean, you know, I haven't spent all this time educating myself and practicing to you know, to waste anybody's time. You know, I'm very focused on these things, and it's true for anyone who's in this field. They've done a lot of education. Now, you may not find exactly the right practitioner for yourself in some cases, but you know, you're still probably going to be better off if you go the professional route.
Yeah, of course. So I'm going to go into some of the more blood sugar support products.
Sure.
So I know we already went over lipoic acid. We do have that in the metabolic syndrome that I had discussed. We have that as a standalone as well. Also berberine. I'm sure you use berberine in your practice. That's a great product for blood sugar support, blood sugar regulation. And we actually have that in the Avail form as well. Yeah, so we have, it's called our Burb Avail. So it uses that same delivery system. Berberine is something where they dose this in very, very high amounts because they know that you're only going to absorb about 1% of that. And so that's something that, you know, taking it with the proper delivery system, you don't have to take too much. You just have to take, you know, one small capsule, and it's, you know, the proper dose. You're absorbing enough where you're not needing to take, you know, a handful of capsules just to get the right amount or anything like that.
Right.
Yep.
So let's see. All right, let's talk about many things here.
Another one that I can think of off the top of my head, if you don't mind, is detox. I honestly was thinking about this when I was discussing my migraines, because that was another you know, process I had to go through, was really detoxifying my body, because a lot of people who have constant headaches and migraines, it honestly could be from a buildup of toxins in your body. And you know, there are a lot of people out there who say, "Oh, I eat healthy. You know, I eat organic. I don't smoke cigarettes. You know, I don't need to detox." But in all reality, no matter how healthy you are, no matter how healthy you try to be, we all are toxic. It's a very toxic environment that we live in. It's actually a proven fact that our homes are twice as toxic as our outdoor environment. And you know, you think when you're home, you use organic products and everything, that you're safe, but just in the building materials, the walls, the floorboards, everything emits toxins, and it's not something that you can get away with. It's just something that you have to work with and, you know, do the proper methods to.
Including that Tempur-Pedic mattress that's outgassing and all of these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. So, and a lot of the buildup is also just part of the natural process. Like your cells are individual lives, really. I mean, they take in nutrition and give out waste. And each cell does that, and then all that waste gets accumulated in the interstitial areas in the interstitial matrix or intracellular matrix. And then that builds up, and then supposedly your lymph is supposed to be draining that out, but the buildup may be too much for your lymph to drain out, or it may get clogged up. And that can then leave a lot of toxic matter that then can lead to carcinogenic processes. So it's very important to detox every once in a while.
Yeah, of course.
And that can vastly improve the communication going on within your body. It can improve all the processes. So absolutely. And you have one of the ones that I've used, I think it's, what's it called? Detox Avail or something like that.
The amino detox? Maybe?
No, there's a...
Or the detox antiox.
Detox antiox, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Let's look at what's in that.
Okay. Yeah, so the detox antiox, that's, you know, obviously one of our main detox formulas. It has some vitamin C in there, has vitamin E, has biotin, has zinc, selenium, manganese, N-acetylcysteine, which is obviously one of those main detox enzymes, commonly called NAC. Also the L-leucine has some mixed tocopherols in there. Your ALA, again, the alpha lipoic acid, the green tea extract as well. And also has some turmeric and some green grapeseed extract.
Good. Yeah. So we've got we have proanthocyanidins in the grapeseed extract. You've got EGCG from the green tea.
Yep. Yeah. EGCG is obviously great for
which is
detox.
Great detox, and also an aromatase enzyme inhibitor.
Yeah.
Along with them, and what was the other one I was thinking of that you mentioned?
The NAC.
No. So you have several elements that are involved in that detox. So you're getting it from several angles or several avenues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So what I would do is use something like that combined with some other formulas that I would use. For example, I might use some homeopathic medicine to get right down to the cellular level and do some cleansing there too. Okay, so there's more. There's lots more. So one of the common areas that we need to deal with, which I kind of broached the subject earlier with the curcumin, is liver detox. And do you have specific liver detox formulas, or do you just?
Yeah, so we have our liver, the LVGB, the liver gallbladder detox formula, right. And also our main detox product that we have. It was our #1 best-selling product in our entire line of 2016. Is our 14-day detox kit, and that's a full phase 1, phase 2 liver detoxification. So I'm sure if you want to, you can go into detail what the phase 1, phase 2 means, or I can just sum it up. But obviously the phase 1 is really removing the toxins from the body where they're typically stored in the fat, and once you remove those from the body, they're kind of just circulating around and they don't really know how to get out of the body. Sometimes those can cause detox symptoms.
That's right. You
for
can
a
get
short
ill
period of time
after a detox.
Yes.
Because it accumulates elsewhere within the body.
And then the phase 2 of detoxing is making those molecules water soluble so that we can excrete them. So we have therapeutic levels of the enzymes necessary for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification, so that as soon as these molecules are released from our body, they can be excreted, eliminated, so that it's you really minimize those detox symptoms.
Now, another facet to detoxing, aside from the liver, is also the kidneys.
Yeah.
These are your primary filters. The liver and the kidneys, and I have come across a pretty good formula with you guys. What's it called? Kidney Complete or something like that?
Kidney Correct.
Kidney Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Kidney Correct, and that's interesting. So it can be used to help promote proper kidney function.
Yeah.
And work along with other things that can be helpful in that. To help support the filtering and so on that's going on in the kidneys. So if you're combining an effort in addressing both liver and kidneys, you're really getting a decent cleanse.
Of course.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. And
time flies when you're having fun.
So is there anything else you'd like to add about your, everything you guys do? Any more background?
Not much.
Yeah.
I think we've probably covered most of it. So obviously we went into detail on a couple of specific areas, but there is obviously a wide range of conditions that we have supplements for.
Right.
So obviously recommend going to your doctor, local functional medicine practitioner, and just kind of seeking help with whatever issues you may be having.
Yeah, but this does give you an idea of some of the range of possibilities that we can draw from.
Yes, of course.
And that we're addressing the situations that occur, health conditions, by targeting root cause by targeting the underlying processes that are involved in creating the disorder in the first place,
Yeah, of course.
as opposed to simply treating the symptoms. So, given that, thank you, Stephanie, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And you've been listening to A Path to Wellness on rhinoonair.com, WSPF-DB.com. And again, if you would